middle part, and it's gonna be epic. I hope. I'm working on it. I've been thinking about it. I'll show you some of my plans, my inspiration. I'm gonna use a different medium for almost every element, which is so me. But if you don't try things, you don't know if they work or not. So that's what we're gonna do today, and it's gonna be super, super fun, and an ocean scene, which is totally my jam. And yeah, I'm really excited. So come on, and if you haven't checked out the other collaborators, there's so many soap makers right now here on YouTube doing this theme, and we're all gonna do it different. All right, so come on into my soapy kitchen while we get started. All right, so the fragrance I've chosen for this is Blackberry and Magnolia, and this is from Steph's Micas and More. If you haven't gotten it on one of her buys, she has some really great deals. And I chose this one because it's got really fruity notes and florals, which should blend well with the cold process elements of my regular line that I'm going to be using for embeds and decoration. So let me show you my inspiration. Now I just bought a new journal, so I thought I'd give you a little peek into this one before I archive it. And there's still quite a few things in this. There's probably enough ideas left in this one to finish off the rest of the year. So let me find, and I've got some really fun, cool stuff coming up. So here is my inspiration. I'll show you this. And I kind of want it to symbolize like dancing orcas. All right, so when my parents were still alive, they would come and visit us every year here on Vancouver Island, and we would go on the ferry. They'd come on the ferry to be here, and they'd often see orcas. They're out in the Strait of Juan de Fuca, and it's just spectacular when you get a picture of them. We always go to the beach, so we've got the beach starting here. So a lot of times the beaches are quite smooth, and then they of course they taper off and they're quite deep, and you can see the boats and things moored. If I can, I'll add an element of actual fishing that we did, but my husband and I have had a lot of fun doing things like salmon fishing and halibut fishing, and the Anacortes ferry is really great too. That leaves out of Sydney here on the island and lands in Anacortes. There are a few stops along the way. I think Whidbey Island is in there and a few other things, but it's probably one of the quietest ferry trips, and you'll see orcas there too, which is pretty cool. Now, if you're not familiar with orcas, that's a killer whale. So we're making killer whales. And I have quite a few friends that are kayakers, and you see some amazing things when you're out on the ocean. My husband and I have a 4-person paddle boat. We made the mistake of going out on the open ocean with it. Well, we actually didn't get to the open ocean. We just stayed along the inner harbor. Apparently that's a no-no because you can get pulled out, but it was super fun, and we did it just the one time. But we've got lakes here. We've got Beaver Lake and Elk Lake that are just right here that we can do that, and it's super, super fun. So this ocean or water theme is right down my alley. So we're going to use a clear melt and pour for this part, and I'm going to gradiate it. All right. We're going to use some cold process, and I'm going to start practicing master batching techniques. So I'm going to do a small master batch, and we're going to take small portions of the lye and small portions of the oils and create this layer. And like I said before, I've got some stamps, and if those fit with the design, I'd like to work that in there too. But I thought maybe I could make a stingray with some soap dough, but we'll see. It's just kind of an oval, and then you stick an oval on top, but it might look weird, so I don't know if I'll do a stingray. Or a halibut. Halibut might be easier. They're just kind of flat fish, so that'd be like, I could do a halibut. Halibut's probably my favorite fish to eat. And a few years ago, my husband went with his friend Wojtek out on the open ocean, and they went halibut fishing, and we had halibut for 2 years. We vacuum sealed it, and it was fantastic for almost 2 years, which is amazing. It was the cow of the sea. So it can be quite large like the orca, so it might fit in this kind of landscape underwater design. So we shall see. Now I might put a little bit of my my melt and pour whip on top. I don't know. I haven't had a lot of success with that. In fact, that's where my cream soap made with melt and pour comes from, and we will be doing that soon as well. When you make mistakes, sometimes you create new products, and that's just seeing the glass half full. So if you can see the glass half full, you can create some really fun and interesting things. So without further ado, let's get cooking. Everybody, today I'm working on my collaboration soap, and I'm going to do one of the first elements today. So I'm going to show you my mold, which is a really easy project, and if you don't have a lot of money, you can make it with recycled materials actually. All right, so this is the mold, and it's made out of corrugated plastic. Now, anywhere you're going to have soap dripping in, I suggest you put some kind of duct tape there. Now, it's just a flat piece of corrugated cardboard. That's it. And you can make it any size or design that you want to. And when you're done making soap like I just did, just wipe it in, just like anything. And then to put it back together, this is how I do it. It's all been pre-scored on this side. So everything in here is watertight. How cool is that? And I've been using this one for a couple of years now. I've probably done 20 batches of soap, minimum, in it. And you can see me use it in a few of my videos. Woodland Creatures is one. So I'll put a link to that here. That's one of my favorite soaps. I may as well give it a little promotion. And that holds about a pound of soap. Now, because I tend to I'm one off. This actually makes a trapezius because I cut one off here. So it isn't actually a square loaf, as you can see. If you look on the inside, it's narrower at the top and wider at the bottom. If you don't like that, you'll have to, make sure you don't cut it like I did. But I actually like the look of that. If I cut it properly, it would be nice and wide. But I'm just one square off on my base, I guess. I don't know. I just can't figure that out, how that happened. But maybe it's part of the downside of this kind of mold. I don't know. You'd think it would work, but it's pretty awesome. Maybe it's because I went so deep. I don't know. But that is one mighty fine mold, and I love the shape of it. So that's what we're going to use today. And I'm going to use that design flaw to my advantage, I hope. All right, so let's get started. First step, I'm going to use my brand new dolphin mold, but we're going to turn this into an orca, I hope. That is the plan. To show you, it's all silicone. The first one I got of these had like these hard tabs, and it was made out of hard plastic. It was a candle mold. I think you can use these both for candle, but silicone's being used more and more often, and I've got so many of these. I just bit the bullet when I found some really cute designs and just went ahead and invested in them. But it just tightens up like this. So if you're going to be doing melt and pour with this, make sure you tighten it up first. And then put it into a vase or some other kind of container, a cup, so that it's upright when it cools. I'm not going to do that with this one. We are actually going to do melt and pour. And so I'm going to fill this up, and then I'm going to pop this on and fill in the gap. So I'm going to overfill it, and then I'm going to squish it. So yeah, I've got some soap dough here. And if it was soft enough, maybe I could do a soap dough push. But with silicone, it tends to be, that's a big bar. I'm going to save that for somebody. And how much do I think I'll need? And a little bit more just in case. It doesn't have to be terribly long. Take some of these smaller pieces. But any extra I have, I can use to make additional little guys. So I'm hoping to do a pot of orchids with this single mold because my mold itself is quite small. So they're going to be dancing on top of the waves is the idea. So while this is heating up in the microwave, I'll go get my journal and show you my design concept. I keep forgetting okay, I'll just keep forgetting that this type of soap creation where you take cold processed soap and you turn it into like a melt and pour is pretty foreign to most soap makers. I think it's becoming more and more common the more I promote it and other people promote it. But it certainly is a fun way to use some of your soft soap. So you want it, if you're making soap dough anyway, why not try to recreate with it and do more than just soap scraps. You can certainly do this with your soap scraps, and if your soap scraps happen when you are creating, put them in a bag so that you can melt them a little more easily if you're not going for a confetti soap. If you want a solid soap that you can do all sorts of fun things with, this is the way to go. Now this first part is going to be a solid gray color. And I thought my detox soap, which this is just soap ends from a big batch. I am so excited to let y'all know that most of my soap sold already, so I have to make more. So I need to use up all my soap ends so I can have some more soap ends to create with y'all. I really, really do love getting creative with my YouTube family. And these are the soap that I just make for me. But there certainly can be created as a custom order just for you. So I've probably got way too much soap here, but I'm going to go ahead and do this bit, and if I need more, I'll do this last one. But that's the perfect size for a gift soap, and I love stamping them. I've got some new stamps. I might even stamp soap. I've got some little fishies, and I might stamp little fishies all over the bottom or the middle or something. It's super cool. Little bubbles and little fishies. Cutest stamp ever. And I might do mailbox minutes with those later so you can ask, where I got them, and I can give you some tips and tricks. But see how soft my soap is? I could actually, and I will be, once I find my molds again, making those wonderful little embeds with my sugar craft molds. Now those are super easy. Once your soap is soft like this, you just push them into the mold and throw them in the freezer to make them, or the fridge, make them hard, and then pop them out, and they come out cleanly with all that wonderful detail intact. So I'm just going to put a little bit of milk on this. So I'm going to use the lactic acid technique, whatever natural lactic acid's in the milk, to help it melt a little faster. All right, so I'm just going to add about a tablespoon of milk, whole milk, or cream. You could use that too. It just makes the soap nicer. And stick it in the microwave for about 30 seconds. All right, so I used a little bit of table cream because I had it. And after 30 seconds, it smushes even easier than it did. Now I'm taking it out to move the milk around, or the cream around, so I get better coverage. In fact, you can if you have a little harder of a soap, you can put it in there and let it soak overnight with a tablespoon of harder shredded soap. You want smaller pieces if you're going to do that. This isn't even warm yet, and it's totally starting to melt on me, which is great. Now, it all depends on your microwave, how fast this goes, but for me and your formula and your soap, and I don't need to go any more fluid than this. This is plenty fluid for me. One, because it's all one color, so any discrepancies in color aren't really going to be an issue. And I can mix it just like that. And it's soft enough, hopefully, this will go really well. And I can take my time. I'm just gonna fill it the best that I can. I want it all full. And we want to actually mound it a bit because we've got that thin. So I'm going to make sure I mound it right up here. And I don't want any gaps. You do need to work fairly quickly because you're gonna lose, it's gonna start getting harder to work with. I want every little bit, so I'm gonna do my Katie Scrapey. All right, so see these wedge grooves? That's where it needs to go. All right, we'll start at one end and work our way up. That way we're sure that the bottom is full. And there was plenty of soap. Okay, we're good. I am so good. I made a big mess.
Now, when the statement, I'm only bugging you when I'm going to think you did.
I know.
See, I'm got a video right now.
You are? You want to stay on the video?
I am. Where am
Yeah.
I mean, I'm looking for Google 24/7.
Now, because this is not this isn't a dolphin, but an orca, I'm going to let it be a little fatter. So I'm going to use the silicone to my advantage in this design. At least I hope that's what I'm doing. We'll get all the leftover bits and we can use that or something else. Or maybe I'll just make some more, but I don't have to. So, I'm hoping everybody's in there good. My whales will be different sizes because it's kind of uneven. And that's kind of cool because that means that I'll be able to do an embed that goes all the way through and everything will be just a little different, which is unique and wonderful and fun. Isn't this the coolest mold ever? At least I hope it is. Hope it is, hope it is, hope it is. All right, so coming back for the next step. Okay, let's turn this dolphin into an orca. See if it even is a dolphin yet. Seems to look pretty good. Now, I've been thinking about different names for my soap, and dancing orcas just keeps coming back to me. So the theme for this is blue, I think. So these are going to be my dancing orcas. So pretty cool. Let's cut this into some sizes that are the size of my mold. So here's the mold again, and we're going to be going this way with the design. Here's my bar. So we need to make them about that long. So let's grab a knife. And that's where I decided. Cut and look at an orca. So yeah, it's a fat. Huh. That's a fat orca. So we're going to put a thin layer of white right through here. Just make sure these aren't too long. Nope, they're just right. You can see the orca there. That's Angora fur, because I was doing the Y solution a minute ago. All right, so yeah, fat babies. These do not look like, yeah, huh. Where should I put it? I think I'll put it right here. So this fat section right here is going to get a thin layer of white soap dough. So we're going to make it nice and thin, and I'll be right back. All right, since it needs to be super thin, we're going to actually use a little bit of melt and pour so I can get a super thin layer, and if I need to add a little more, I will. So let me just, oops, melt these down in my itty bitty cup, and we'll see if we can create a killer whale. Yeah, some of them are a little fatter. I should have mushed it a little. Live and learn. That's what we do. So I'm going to start with this little one. And if I have to, I will add more onto the bars themselves. So this is going to be an exercise in very small batches once again. I'm going to do them all the same, so hopefully I'm not destroying them all. We'll see. Okay. So the embeds for the dancing dolphins are done. So we'll just set these over to the side while I mix up. Clean up as we go. Clean as you go. I am missing my scraper, my favorite tool. Do you guys have a little scraper for your countertops? I do, and I love it. So I'm super excited about this. And hopefully we'll get a gradient color creation in the melt and pour portion of this creation. I am super stoked. So let's see what we can do next. I'm just going to go ahead and just put these in here for now. See how quickly that dries. And this is all soft, so it should stick really well. All right, so let's get our master batches over here and measure out what we need to make a small batch of soap. So let me show you the numbers again. Little bits of soap everywhere. So I'm going to need 140 grams of my oils and butters as selection. I've got cocoa butter. I don't know if you saw a big glunk of cocoa butter. And olive oil and canola and grapeseed and all sorts of wonderful things in here. Oops, not quite melted. We're gonna have to wait a few minutes. See, that little bit of cocoa butter is just not quite done. So we'll get that done. And I'm gonna filter out the pollen from the beeswax. So we're using raw honeycomb. We are nearly there. Now the next time I do this, I'll just warm it up in the microwave and it'll melt a lot easier. Okay, let's get our scale. And the messes like you saw earlier are why I cover my little postal scale with, or kitchen scale, with plastic. Now I'm going to get some labware for my lye, just because I don't want to accidentally pour too much in. So we're going for hopefully exactly 140.36 grams. And there we go. And we have a squirrel in my ceiling. Actually caught one last year. It came down through my the little crawl space that's up there. Gosh, it was hilarious. Okay, so I'm gonna put this aside. I don't need that anymore. We're done. That's my master batch. Now, the lye, I need 19.88. So we're gonna say 20. That's not very much. There we go. All right, and we're done with that. So I'm going to see if we get an emulsified soap or if we just made a really bad mistake. So let's put my master batch away. Go ahead and strain off all the excessive extras. Now this is tetrasodium EDTA, so I want as much of that in there as I can. That's not lye. That's my chelator. We want you in there. Oops. And my lid. Okay, I need to find my lid before I go any further. Actually, that's quite warm. I'm going to go ahead and let that cool. Okay, so let's see if we've got a tiny bit of soap here. Looking like it. Looking good, baby. Okay, so we're starting to saponify, so I'm going to slow that down. Go back to my design and make sure I get all of this right. So we're doing a sand, you see here, I'm doing the sand layer here. So we're going to put it at an angle. And I'm also going to add my fragrance now. And we just need a tiny, tiny bit of fragrance because this is just a tiny, tiny bit of soap. I'm just going to add a few drops to that. Hopefully that won't speed up trace. And we're going with blackberry and magnolia for this. Now I'm going to add some rocks to this. Now the rocks I'm adding are bits of zolzytha. All right, so I did have everything I needed. All ready to go. Yes, yes I did. So we've got some zolzytha there. And we've got some of the black pieces, just to give us a little bit of texturing in the beach. So I just need to chop these. Actually, I just want to kind of smush them. We'll have some smushed, and we'll have some chopped. Light trace there, that looks great. And this has actually got some sand in it, which I wanted. So wanted. Okay, so let's get our mold here. We'll put our dancers over there. And we're gonna pour this in. Okay, I'm going to do that at an angle. You see that? And this is kind of cool that I can do that if I think it's doing something funky. Oh, this is fun. I like master batching. Thank you, Soaping 101. Thank you, Joanna. Those girls are super shares when it comes to soap making, and I am so grateful to them. So the idea is to tilt this enough that we're coating the bottom, but we're coming up to the beach, so I might have to go down a bit further. So we're gonna have to build this up a little bit. Let's start with these bits. I hope you guys can see what I'm doing. You can't really though, can you? All right, so I'm gonna, yeah, now you can see a little better. All right, so I'm gonna get some more of this soap. I'll put some more of these Olson in there. Alright, so I really want the sandy bits. You know what I think I'm going to do? I think I'm just going to do this and build it up like that because I wanted a beach line. You know, I think I've got a longer one that'll do what I need to do. Here, let's use all of this, smaller pieces. And then I'm going to take a bar and slide it in there as an embed. It's interesting. Sometimes, you know what you want to do, but you're not really sure how you're going to get it, right? So you just have to try different things. All right, so again, I'm going to smush these. I need a lot. So I underestimated my design requirements. Go ahead and use most of this. And there'll be little bits of sand in this, so it's going to be really fun to use, guys. This is just a fun design and a fun soap. I don't want any hard angles on here because, sometimes there's like big rocks and stuff and like shale, and just get these flat, big formations. Or maybe you live in an area where they have like seaweed and stuff. So these can kind of be like seaweed too. We have lots of seaweed here. All right, so now I need to do a little cleanup. Wipe that because we've got some soap there that's raw. Just clean up that mess. Now I chose the magnolia and blackberry. One, because blackberries grow here and I am obsessed with blackberries. I love blackberries. So let's get this angle back on. Make sure we don't have any. We're getting nice and thick. We're starting to gel. I'm gonna put in the rocks because we have rocky beaches for the most part. I'm going to take a nice looking bar that's got a pretty good bit of beachfront property And we're just going to slide that baby in like an embed. And I'm going to get another piece and just finish off that coastline. So we'll see. I think I'm going to flip this because we've got a bit of all right, so if I didn't tell you at the beginning, this is going to be a I'm going to be using a lot of different types of soap. So we've got a rebatch method in the embed. We've got a mosaic method here. And then we're also using this as embeds. And these are going to be my dancing orcas. So I'm going to put all three of them in there. So there'll be a 3-pod on some of them and there'll be a 2-pod on others. Super exciting. So I need to wait for this to harden before I can finish my design. I'm not going to add the orcas until we've got the water in place, and I'm using melt and pour soap for that. And then at the top, I want to create like little bits of white and movement. So I need a movement element, and I haven't quite figured out how I'm going to do that, but hopefully we'll get that created and figured out together. Okay, let's see. Yeah, I think I'm liking this. And I don't want it all the way down. I need it to like start to look like the bottom of the ocean. Let's move this up a little. Okay, there we go. All right, I'll come back when this is set and we will do the melt and pour layers. Alrighty, so we've got pretty much set there. That looks really good. Can you see that? Now I'm going to add a little bit of sand, a little more sand. We'll just sprinkle that in there. Not a lot, but a little bit. Oops, that was a lot. Let's just give that a shake. We don't want to, run the chance of messing up we don't want this to crack. That's always my my fear, is that we'll end up with a design that fractures completely apart. And sometimes that happens, like the last time I had a few of my embeds fall off the top. It happens to all of us. So I'll put that away. And I am going to add a little bit of sparkle, and I'm going to do it at this point because sand has that little bit of sparkle, and I want to kind of make it a little more evident, just kind of exaggerate it a little bit in this design so we get the essence of it. I don't know if we'll even get, I don't really want a mica line. I just want you to see this little bit of sparkle every once in a while when your bar comes, when you're washing your bar, and you may not even be able to see it right away. Okay, so there we go. We're going to start with the melt and pour section of this creation next. So I am going to spray it with alcohol. Hopefully it won't make everything run, but who knows. All right, so this does not take very long at all. I am going to start with a deep blue. I'm going to turn this green into a deep blue. And then I'm just going to gradually add more soap to it until it's kind of a green color. So we're just going to do small layers. And I may need more soap, so that's okay. So I'm just going to do a little at a time. So I'm just going to use this small microwavable container. And we'll do our layers. So I've got my handmade blue colorant. If you want to know how to make this, check in the link. And I've got little beads in there so that I have a nice strong color. Now this is water dispersible dye, which is what I like to use with my melting pour. So we will make this super dark. I hope super dark. I may even like drizzle some of this more intense blue in there. We shall see. I'm going to use my little tiny reagent measuring spoons. Let's see how dark we are. And we are pretty darn dark. Let's see what that looks like. Oh yeah, that's pretty dark. All right, I am going to melt a little bit more while that one cools off a bit. I'm going to do a little bit of this. It'll help cool it. Hopefully. Now I want to be able to see my orcas. Now we're just going to mix this because I didn't. I'm going to lighten this up just a wee bit. Because I didn't add the fragrance to that one. Now I don't want to see lines. So let's see how this works. I don't know. Wrong. I'm going to let that settle first. That is a big rock on the beach. I don't think I want any big rocks in there. Oh no, it's soap. Okay, I'll bring you back when we're ready for the next layer. All right, so we're starting to get a little, got a soft layer here. You can see that. Can still kind of move it, but I think I can start placing my first embeds. I want you further over though. get you right there. Okay. We're going to put a little bit of blue in this one. Make sure we got our fragrance in. Now we're going to do that again, but I'm not going to add any more color. Okay, let's see if we can put this next one in. Oops, that's hot, 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 hot. Alrighty, so we'll let that cool, and then we'll do our last layer and add our last few little guys, and we'll see how we can finish this off. All right, let's finish this off. Let's put the last embed in. Is that the right way? Yes. That. I'll go ahead and put in a couple of these pieces. Ah, that one's definitely needing to be up against, I think up against this one's probably best. There we go. Now I'm just going to do a little melt and pour white, and I'm going to kind of drizzle it like the breaks in the water where they would be splashing. And we'll see if I can place it just right. Playing. I need some up against this right there. A little in there. All right. We will bring you back in the morning and see this creation. Bye for now. All right, after the shenanigans yesterday, we'll see how this goes. See if we actually got the design I was looking for. All right, so my cold process soap is a little soft. So we've got some issues with that this morning. What to do. I can smooth those. What I think I'm going to do right now is just clean it up. I think I'll just let it dry. The longer I do, though, the harder my melt and pour is going to be to cut. So I'm really not sure my best course of action is. So we're just going to be a little, we're going to rush it a little. It's not horribly soft, but it's not exactly cooperating nicely. Soap has lots of bubbles. It's master batching work. Next time I'll make sure I throw it in the freezer so that I get a nice smooth release. So let's clean up the mold, and then we can use this to smooth this baby up later. Now I did anticipate some of this happening because I've got all that that other soap there. So just fill this in a little. And up here is where I want it to. Just put it back. Put it back where it belongs. I'm going to use a little bit of water. This is like frosting almost, it's so soft. That'll help me mold it back to a beach. Now I don't care with this one about hard lines and finished edges because it's a art bar, but we want it to be, oh, I love it. I love it so far. Oh my gosh, that is gorgeous. Okay. So I'm just going to trim these little edges here. Clean this up. That's gorgeous. Okay. It's okay to say you like something that you imagined. Okay, let's put this baby up here. Okay, first I'm going to show you the sides. You can see there we did end up with some gradient, which was really important to me and this design. All right. I'm not going to waste any of this soap, so we are just going to cut and see what we get. Ooh. We have killer whales. Ah! Dancing killer whales. Oh, I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. So you can see them. This bar is a little too small, so I'm going to make it a little chunkier. Make sure it's straight. I don't want crooked bars. Oops. I'm going to bang around here. Hold my breath every time. Dancing killer whales. Oh, that's just fun. Now there is sand in this, so that little bit of grit and stuff I need to wipe away. Now I'm going to go in between these two so I get 3 in that one. Dancing killer whales. So we still got a little bit of soft edged cold process soap that I'll have to clean up. But wow, this is just glorious. That's exactly what I was looking for in this design. Get your little bellies. Get those giant killer whales. That one looks like a dolphin, but he's got a little bit of a belly. I'll do another little here. And, ouch. I'm going to send this. Oh, don't do anything weird. That melt and pour is hard to cut with a wire cutter. And every time I do it, I run the chance of breaking it. That's just fun. That is so fun. Ha! Ah. Awesome. All right, if you enjoyed this, please click like and subscribe to my channel and go check out what the other creators are doing in this collaboration. Make sure you live your life with a little spice, but do it safely. Bye for now.